Theodore Roosevelt. He consistently ranks among the nation's top 5 most popular presidents. This upcoming 4th of July holiday, TR is finally getting his own presidential library, 107 years after his death. But it's not where you might think.
Nature is transformative here. It transformed Theodore Roosevelt, and it will transform new visitors to this library.
That library, rising out of the prairie grass in the North Dakota Badlands, is a 96,000 square foot tribute to our 26th president. It's as grand as his likeness on Mount Rushmore, but a lot more subtle. And that's by design, says architect Craig Dykers.
We wanted something that just felt primitive. And so this form emerging from the earth, it felt like it just arrived from the earth.
Its gently sloping roof mimics the surrounding buttes, covered in native grasses and walking paths. Yep, walking paths on the roof. The hope is they'll get visitors up and out for a commanding view of Theodore Roosevelt's National Park right next door.
You could park 3 747 airplanes wingtip to wingtip on top of this building, and you wouldn't know it.
Inside, a string of skylights will provide almost all the natural illumination the library would ever need, held up by walls made solely of earth.
Every layer that you look at here is soil taken from nearby the building and compressed into this shape. The grass will grow right up to the edge.
Everywhere we looked during our privileged sneak peek back in March, it was hard to tell where nature ended and the library began. Its $450 million price tag is the biggest thing this small town of Medora, North Dakota, has ever experienced. If you're wondering why TR's library is way out here instead of his native New York, it's because were it not for his experiences way out here, Roosevelt said he never would have been president.
Theodore Roosevelt grew up as a sickly, asthmatic child who lived his life through books and his imagination. So here he is, 24 years old, on the plains and in the Badlands of North Dakota, and he's living the life he's only read about in books.
But the reason he took up residence here in the Badlands is hardly a happy one, says Edward O'Keefe, CEO of the library and author of a recent book on Roosevelt.
He was a broken man in a broken land, and nature was his healer.
In a tragic twist, Teddy Roosevelt's mother, Mittie, and his young wife, Alice, both died in the same house on the same day, Valentine's Day, 1884. "The light has gone out of my life," Roosevelt wrote in his diary, the date marked by a bold X.
At the funeral of his wife and mother, it was a double funeral. He was so desolate and so depressed that they were concerned for his own safety.
After settling his affairs, which included asking his sister to raise his newborn daughter, he headed west alone. He'd been to the Dakota Territory just a year prior to hunt a pair of bison, the two that still hang in Roosevelt's Long Island home to this day. He dug in and began living a kind of life many Dakota cowboys thought he wasn't prepared to live. They were wrong.
I think he had a life wish. He realized that no matter how rich you are, no matter how privileged you are, that you don't know what's going to happen next. If you want to get something done in this world, if you want to love somebody, if you want to accomplish something, you got to go.
And it's that kind of rugged, raw, and real intellectual journey
He was out here for the better part of 2 years.
that the library wants visitors not just to look at under glass, but experience.
It almost seems like library is a misnomer.
Library and museum are the two worst descriptions of what the TR Library actually is. It's a call to adventure.
For example, you don't have to imagine what it's like to be in TR's boots. You can actually see it.
Let's see if Lee
no.
was out in the Badlands. Oh,
Wow.
Whoa.
I'm impressed with myself.
Whoa.
It's the kind of place that couldn't have been built even 5 years ago, because AI is such a large part of it.
We have created the world's first presidential archive in AI. Participants can come here to the TR Library and have an in-person conversation with an avatar of TR. You do not come unprepared for a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. He'll have none of it.
It'll be the only presidential library that will have hitching posts for your horse. You can take a nature walk on a mile-long path through the prairie. You can sit by a campfire and hear tall tales of life on the range.
I was there the first time Mr. Roosevelt tried to ride him.
And step into his cabin at the Elkhorn Ranch. But for all the fun, there's a serious bent too. He was a man of his times, and his times weren't always flattering.
I wasn't interested in doing a legacy project for Theodore Roosevelt. There's plenty of things named after him, there are plenty of statues, but the idea of just sort of basking in the glow of somebody or saying, this is a great man, let's all look at him, isn't particularly compelling.
That's Theodore Roosevelt V, the president's great-great-grandson.
Are you ready to see?
Yeah, I am ready.
All right, let's take a look.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. It really is. Normally presidential libraries, it's the principal, the president, trying to cement the first chapter of his legacy. In this case, we've got 100 years plus to be able to look back at his legacy, to really understand what that legacy is, what the lasting impacts were. We get to face those issues head on.
Including Roosevelt's racist views of indigenous peoples, whom he often referred to as savages.
We had a land blessing out here with the 5 tribes to bless the land and really bring them into the project so that we were working with them and making sure that their voices were heard and that we were representing things appropriately.
The library's taken possession of a statue of Roosevelt that was removed in 2022 from outside the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Critics argued that the message of a white man elevated above both a Native American and an African symbolized racial superiority.
We are here to preserve the life and legacy of Theodore Roosevelt. I think it's important that we eventually do something that contextualizes it appropriately, but not at the opening.
If the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library has any message, it's that courage and strength often come from personal tragedy, missteps, mistakes, and misunderstandings.
It's not the critic who counts.
As he famously said, it's being in the arena that matters, and that more than anything, maybe the hindsight the library has to offer.
He does not like the critic. He does not like the person on the sideline pointing out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. He likes the person who tries and fails. That's a powerful lesson for today. I want kids in particular to come in and to understand that if you want to change something in this world, you have got to be the source of that change.